Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome back to WagerTalk TV. This is the KBO betting show. My name is Andrew McInnis, joined once again by Dave Cokin. And we got some KBO action right back at it. We had a little break for the weekend and back at it for more of the KBO betting show. Dave, how you doing?
Oh, I'm sorry. You broke up on me. So if you asked me something, I didn't hear it.
How are you?
I'm doing fine. Looking forward to tonight. Had a difficult weekend, but I guess I was due. Had just a massive 3-week run and didn't do well on the weekend. Fortunately, limited liability because I don't play many games. So this is where being real selective helped out. It wasn't a disaster. And look to get back on track with the Tuesday schedule. My best bet is already up at WagerTalk. It's just $9, and hopefully we'll get everybody in the win column to start the week.
I saw that. You had to play up quite early, which means definitely a lot of confidence in it. So everybody out there, check out his package at WagerTalk.com. So far, I have 2 plays locked in for my clients, and as of right now, that's all I have, unless something else sticks out to me. So without further ado, Dave, we'll get things going. We'll start things off in rotation order. I'll throw it to you for the first game. LG Twins, Doosan Bears. Gut reaction for me is I think this is a pretty decent price here we're getting with the Bears.
Yeah, they're getting a little healthier. I'm not really enamored with Shaw. His metrics are not particularly good. And there's a couple of things that really bother me about him. One is he does give up a lot of home runs. He's given up 8 so far, and he's got control issues. He's faced Doosan twice this year with mixed results. One of the starts was quite good. The other was a train wreck. Again, control came into play in those efforts. His last 2 starts have not been good, so he's not in the kind of form I like. Doosan sends Lee to the mound. He struggles against lefties, and he's going to see quite a few lefty hitters tonight, so that does play into things being good for the LG lineup. His last start was very good, but overall he's been, more ineffective than effective. I think this one's got a chance to be a high-scoring game. I know that Doosan is profiled more as an under team at home and an over team on the road. But I don't like the pitchers here, and I suspect you could see some runs tonight. And the over has gotten some play here. This is kind of, if you didn't play it early, you missed it because it opened 10 and it's gone to 11.
Well, we take a look at this Doosan Bears team. We saw them play the Kiwoom Heroes, and then they get a little bit lighter of a series against the bottom feeder team. So you have to wonder. It's kind of like that strategy I talk with you quite often about is, do we see some confidence built after playing a bad team, or is it a letdown spot after a couple artificial victories? Well, the way I look at it, Dave, I get what you're saying. I think for both teams, it could be a higher scoring one, but I'm going to go ahead and say that even though this one here, I mean, with Lee, this isn't something I love by any means on the board, but we look at his last 3 starts, the earned runs, it's gone from 7 to 4 to 1. So I don't know how heavily we can take into the account, but it's besides a couple of pitchers, the number 1 guys, the aces, I really look for a what have you done for me lately off these. And I'm not saying I only handicap the last couple of starts, but I'm not going back to looking at, this guy's start that was 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, because unless it was against that similar team, I want to know what this guy's done for me lately. And for me right now, I trust Lee a hell of a lot more than I trust Cha. And Cha got banged around against KT in his last outing. Doosan's a team coming off a series where they scored some runs, and but also they had a series against Kiwoom. It was the second seed and the 3rd seed. And now we're seeing the 3rd seed against the 4th seed. So this isn't just a good series entertainment-wise. This is a good series standing-wise. And I think for right now, I'm comfortable with the minus 130 spot for the Doosan Bears.
And one thing to add in is that LG has a great record against the 2 bottom feeders. They're well under 500 against the rest of the league.
Yeah. And that's, it's funny you bring that up. I'm not sure if you were on this play as well, Dave, but I lost a tough one with LG on the weekend. It was a tough. I think it was the
12 inning game.
Yeah, that was rough.
That sucked.
Yeah.
I mean, LG takes the lead in the top of the 12th. And then the walk parade begins in the bottom of the 12th, and they blew the game. That was I won't say it was the worst beat of the weekend. I wasn't involved in the worst beat of the weekend. That would have been the Kia NC game, which was 2-1 going to the ninth.
Yeah.
And I think the teams combined to score 13 runs in the ninth inning. And if you had the under in that game, that's about as bad as it gets. That one I managed to avoid that one. And the interesting thing is I did like the under in that game, but I didn't pull the trigger. That's kind of what I referred to at the beginning of this broadcast about not playing many games. If I had played a lot of games on Sunday, it would have been a real rough day.
We're also seeing the Doosan Bears team total list at 5.5 right now, plus 100 even money. Looking back at some games that they've played, especially against top teams, when they have won, they have put up some numbers. So just a quick shout out there for that number if anybody's interested in that. Quick hello here to Matrix Surfer, Jeff Swayze. Happy Monday to you as well. GTA Gamer, Daniel, V. Barry, Art, the usual guys here joining us. Michael, Brian Watson, we appreciate you tuning into the KBO show. And we'll get on to the next game, Lotte Giants, Hanwha Eagles. Dave, I think we've seen some money actually come down a little bit on this one.
What happened? Then it came back down. It's one of those rare games.
Nothing crazy.
I was going to say it's one.
You haven't seen it come down big.
No, it's basically at the same at 5 dimes. It's the same price it opened at. It's one of those games where you can actually make a case that the Eagles have a pitching edge and maybe a shot to win this one. Lotte's not playing well right now. They've dropped back to 3 games under 500. Didn't have a very good weekend against the Wyverns. They're starting Zhang, his 9 innings of work this year have not been good. 15 hits, 10 runs, only 3 strikeouts, a couple of home runs. Neither start was good. He's not a guy I want to back. And Zhang has been a little better lately. His last few starts have been pretty good, actually, for Hanwha. They did get one of their infielders back, which helps them a little bit. Overall, though, the Zhang numbers are not positive. And basically, this comes down to my philosophy on the Eagles, which is if I think they're the right side, I just leave the game alone. Because I don't want to back a team that's 13-40 unless I'm getting a really big price and it's worth what I think is a gamble. In other words, if they were, I don't know, plus 180 here, I'd probably take a shot. But you're only going to get plus 140 or thereabouts. That to me is not enough of a shot, even though I think they might win this game.
I was looking at the under here, Dave. I thought it was actually a pretty decent number with 10.5 with the Lotte Giants and the Hanwha Eagles. And this could be a winnable game. And for me, I look at a winnable game. I think both teams will be on their heels a little bit and take it quite seriously. But you got a guy like Zhang Wan. He's someone that could worry me a little bit, and that would make it tough. And I think that's one of the reasons why we're seeing it. Obviously, Zhang Shaihuan, he's the guy that overall the stats don't make you jump out of bed and get ready to back the Hanwha Eagles. In fact, nobody wants to back the Hanwha Eagles. But like you said, this might be a spot where you'd be interested if you were getting a better number. But the number that I do like is the 10.5. And I think if I was looking at the total here, I would grab the under 10.5 and challenge these teams to give me some runs. Challenge the Hanwha Eagles to give me some runs, because I could see even if that team wins tomorrow morning, it might be a 6-2 game or a 4-2 game, something like that. I'm not visioning them. If you look at the highest scoring games that have been involved Hanwha, it's obviously been involving the better teams. When they're playing other teams that are more middle of the pack, and we look at the Lotte Giants in 8th, we're seeing an 8th place team against a 10th place team, and we're at 10.5 total. So are we going to see a game when it's 2 bottom feeders absolutely pop off, or have these odds makers not adjusted to the batting ability and Zhang Shuaihuan's current form? Interesting to mention, though, the past couple games for Zhang has been against LG, Samsung, and Kia. 3 teams that I'm not consistently counting on to put up big numbers. So now will this be one of those ones for Lotte where we see a lot of runs, or will it be a dead set under? I like the unders here. And Dave, we saw a lot of overs over the weekend. I'm thinking unders here today. I'm thinking unders.
It was a really bad weekend for the bullpens. They were worn out and were horribly ineffective in some cases. we'll see with a couple days off, maybe some fresher bullpens will help some of these games stay low this evening. That remains to be seen. Now we're heading to
KT Wiz, Kia Tigers.
The injury game here. Well, Kia's got injury issues. They lost their middle infield. And these are two guys with big batting averages, right around 380 each. So that's a big hit to the Kia lineup. And it really throws this game out of whack for me because I think the pitching matchup clearly favors KT in this matchup. Bay's overall numbers, I mean, if you look at his base numbers, they're not terrible, 4-2, 3.66. But if you dig a little deeper, they're really not very good. He's a below average pitcher, in my opinion, even though his last two starts have been good. And his one start against Kia was good. So there's some positives there. I still would lean to the Wiz, though, because of the fact that Kia's lost two key guys. And I really think if Kia's going to win this game, it's going to be in the strength of Im's arm. He's a solid pitcher, right? And he does the kind of things that I like. He'll give up hits. He's given up about a hit an inning, but hasn't been giving up a lot of damage. And a big part of the reason for that is he doesn't walk people. He's only issued 9 walks in his 48 2/3 innings. That's an excellent ratio. And
we got to look at who he's played recently, though, as well.
Yeah,
we got to factor.
Well, but those
SK Hanwha.
Yeah, still, nevertheless, I mean, if you look through his overall numbers, he's been a pretty good pitcher.
For sure.
But he's going with he's got a compromised lineup tonight. The Wiz actually, I guess you'd call it kind of a positive weekend, even though they had one game where they blew the lead and lost the game. But things are improving a little bit. Yep. I mean, you're never going to trust the Wiz bullpen. Okay, it's a really bad bullpen. But if they can get some innings out of Bay, and he's thrown 59 innings, so he's a guy who usually gets them fairly deep into games. You know, he's averaging about 6.5 innings per start. That's pretty good. I think you can build a case for the road team here, but I'm not going to play it because, again, overall, I generally won't go against what I think is the superior pitcher. And in this case, I definitely think Im is the better of the two pitchers.
Yeah, for me, I look at it and it's just I never really thought that KT would end up being one of those teams for me where, you know, I'm a little bit more confident backing them when I'm getting them at an underdog role like I have been. And then the profit for them has been, you know, making units for us has been as short dogs or decent dogs right now at around just a short dog price, you know, in this spot. And I get it. I get what you're saying about, you know, the pitching matchup, but I don't think I'm as low on Bay. I don't think you sounds like for you, Im is the clear number one out of these two. And I think that tomorrow morning we'll prove it. You know, like I said, over a long term, I've actually cashed some under tickets with Im. But if you look at it, you know, 5 and a third, giving up 7 hits against a Hanwha Eagles team. I don't care how many runs you scored, 7 hits against that team. You know, runs are all that matter. But I don't like that hit number. I don't like the what he's, you know, you give him a powerful lineup. You give him a lineup that can score some runs at a plus price. I don't know what to think about that. So, and you look at a guy like Bay, had a great start against LG and a great start against NC where he pitched 6 innings. So we talk about strength of schedule. Im has definitely had that, you know, for recency, at least. We can definitely look at the stats and say that he's played better, but I can also look at a team. Any pitcher that plays against NC and plays well, that means a hell of a lot more to me than anything else.
It should.
And what I'm gonna look at here, guys, is the first 5 innings plus a half for the KT Wiz minus $1.15. That's where I am right now. Minus 110 with this spot here. I think that it'll be, if anything, you know, either a first 5 game for KT, like Dave alluded to. You can't trust the bullpen, and let's be honest, the price you're getting with the money line isn't that juicy. You know, it's like you said with the previous game. I think you were talking about Hanwha. If I was getting an outstanding price with KT, give me the money line. But for right now, I'll hope for them to keep things close in the first 5 innings. That's my look for this game. Zach Davis here. He's a guy that's been watching us quite a bit, Dave. He's made some money in the KBO. He says, Wiz made me money over the weekend. I'm going with the plus money in this one. Well, Dave, what are your thoughts on these prices we've seen? I mean, right now, if you've been betting a lot of the money line favorites, it hasn't been going great recently.
No, I think the odds makers do a pretty good job. So generally, we're at the point in the season where my numbers and the odds makers' numbers are pretty much aligned for the most part, and I've got to look for situations that I think are favorable. A couple of comments in the comment column. Somebody commented on some problems with the overseas games, the past posting. That was only one thing. It was on the day where they had a bunch of doubleheaders, and somebody at one of the resorts screwed up, and there's been a lot of controversy over that, but it's not. It's only happened one time. And somebody else commented that Kia hasn't played very well at home. They're 15-7 at home, so yeah, actually they have. So remember to check the numbers before you put up a statement. But Kia, we'll see what happens with Kia with the guys out of the lineup. I don't know enough about the replacements to really have a good feel for it. I don't know whether they're, whether they're on a par defensively. You would assume that they're going to take a hit offensively, but that's why we watch the games and kind of make an assessment after that.
So, Dave, we've got a David Buchanan coming off a solid performance against SK. Good. 1 earned run, 4 hits, 1 home run.
Complete game.
What are your overall thoughts on this guy? I mean, like you said, we're seeing him 9 innings pitch coming off that one. He must be feeling good. Previous game was against the Hanwha Eagles. Took the L and gave up 8 earned runs. What are we currently thinking about this guy?
That's the thing with Buchanan is he's been very inconsistent. The overall numbers aren't bad, and he's had we'll say he's had like 6 out of 10 pretty good starts, so that's not a terrible ratio. But when he's bad, he's really bad, and when he's good, he's really good. So he's a guy you have to kind of watch early in the game and make a determination at that point. Now, his one prior start against Kiwoom was outstanding. He went 7 innings of 2-hit shutout ball with 1 walk and 8 strikeouts. And again, he's coming off a very strong effort. So there's some things to like there. The flip side is Kim, in a limited sample, has been not too bad for Kiwoom. 16 2/3, 19 hits, 10 runs, 6 walks, 18 strikeouts, but that's all out of the bullpen. This will be his first start. And I don't know how he adjusts to that role. I don't know how long he's slated to go, what kind of a pitch count he's on. It's not going to be big. You would figure, 60 pitches tops if he's stretched out. So this is going to be a bullpen game for the Heroes. And that's normally not a bad thing, but their bullpen had some struggles over the weekend, so it looks like they need some time off. Samsung, meanwhile, going into this weekend, they were 24-0 when leading after 6 innings. And it looked like it was going to be 24-1 on Saturday, but they got the 12th inning comeback in that one. And then on Sunday, it ended. And it ended with a thud against LG as they just got blown out in the late innings of that game. So their bullpen.
I was on that.
Well, I wish I was on any winner after the fact. The Samsung bullpen's been really good for the most part by KBO standards. The ERA in the mid-4 range, but it had a very bad weekend. So I don't know if that's a telltale sign or not. Kiwoom's this is cheap, and it's based on the fact that you've got an American pitcher on the mound who's coming off a really good start, and I think you'd have to definitely give a pitching edge to Samsung here. But the flip side of it is you're not getting what I call your money's worth on Samsung because Kiwoom is one of the 2 or 3 best teams in the league, and even with and they're 19-8 at home, by the way. I don't think I want to take that smaller price with Samsung here, but I don't really want to go with the first-time starter either. Very tough game.
I find it an interesting game as well. I actually, I like the under. I like the under in this one. You can get some different numbers, but I think the current number is 9.5 to the best of my knowledge in this one. And so here's the funny thing: you look at this Kiwoom Heroes team, and they've actually played some teams recently that love to fall into the over style, and that's the thing. You have to look at it from a game to game basis. Samsung is an under team. We've seen them turn certain teams they've played into under teams, or at least during their series. We got a Kiwoom team coming off a series against KT, Doosan. Kia even was hot when they were playing them in a few of their games. LG got a few runs. Now we see them playing against an under team. What strategy will they adapt to? We know there's some pretty good pitching throughout this Kiwoom lineup, and it's like you alluded to. Kim hasn't been bad. He hasn't been a guy that I'm just getting ready to fade. So I think the general population, general public, they want to bet Buchanan. They want to bet the guy that's a solid, American guy coming off a great outing. I'm just going to stick with the total in this one. I think it's one of those ones where I feel like I'd be forcing a play on the side here. It's a cheap price, to say the least, I guess, for Buchanan. However, it's the same kind of deal that I talked about for the majority of last week's show. Do you want to back the second place team that's 33-21 with a pitcher that's looked pretty good recently, or do you want to back the sixth place team that's 29-25 with a pitcher that's looked pretty good recently, but not long term, not as much long term results, right? And that's the way I really look at it, And I think, to me, with the odds we're getting, the odds are relatively appropriate, but everyone is going to be on Samsung. I think it'll be a bookmaker's dream tonight to see Kiwoom get the job done. Would you agree with that, Dave?
Yes and no. Line's gone up, actually, from 115 to 120. It's tough. I mean, if this were a big market game, Major League Baseball game, I might agree with that assessment. But it's still a sharper betting market. And I don't think the sharp money is going to show on Samsung here. I think it was priced properly by the odds makers. And I don't see this line doing a whole lot, to tell you the truth. The total has been bet up, by the way. The value now probably is with the under. Now that the number's going to 10. And it should be noted.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
I ended up locking in the 10. I didn't know if it was there still right now, but I was shocked with that move based on the guys that are out there, Dave.
Well, I think a lot of it's got to do with the first-time starter and the knowledge that you're going to get. It's mostly a bullpen game for Kiwoom. And when it's mostly a bullpen game, people like, the over does make some sense. But 5 out of the 6 meetings between these two have gone under so far. So we've seen some pitching duels when these teams.
And I wonder how many
year.
Samsung games with the total of 10 have gone under.
Yeah, that I wouldn't know on that.
Because if we look at all of their games, I think in the past 2 weeks, we've either seen 9.5, 9, or 8.5. I can't remember the last time seeing a 10 with the Samsung Lions. So I'm comfortable with that under. And
you're getting the best of the
hopefully we'll get a definitely. Last game here, NC Dinos, SK Wyverns.
That's the marquee matchup tonight.
I got bad news for you, Dave. You're not getting a good money line price here with the Dinos tonight, unfortunately.
No.
You're not going to be able to
you're not going to get any good money line prices with Koo.
No.
I mean, the guy's 7-0. His earned run average is 1.5. Most of that was damage in one game, 2 starts back. He had an off game, and then came roaring back last time out with a spectacular performance. I mean, these numbers they're just great. 66 innings, 36 hits, 11 runs, 76 strikeouts. His walk rate is very low. He's had the one bad start. The other 9 have been outstanding. And interestingly, despite the fact these teams have played each other twice this season, the Wyverns never got to face, I guess it was a break for them, they never had to face Koo. So this is their
worked
first.
Out well for them.
Yeah, this is their first look at him, which is probably an advantage for the pitcher with that slider working. Meanwhile, the Wyverns send Moon to the mound, and this is a guy who could sue his team for non-support. He's actually pitched really well. He's having a good season. 58 innings, 53 hits, 21 earned runs, 15 walks, 56 strikeouts, only giving up 4 homers, so he doesn't get touched up by the long ball. The guy's got good numbers. He's pitched well in 5 of his last 6 starts. His 2 starts against the Dinos, now it is their third look at him, so they maybe do a little more damage tonight, but 12 innings, 10 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, 15 strikeouts. So he's had 2 really good performances against the best team in the league. I think he'll take them out with confidence tonight. Again, it's his 3rd time facing this team in a relatively short span. They've only played, a little over 50 games. So that could be an advantage for the Dinos, but he's pitched well enough that he keeps his team in basically every game, and I would suspect he's able to do that here. Unfortunately, he's up against the best pitcher in the league, so, here's a guy, Moon, with a 2-4 record. It could easily be a lot better than that in his 10 starts. More like 6-4 would be the right record, maybe even 7-3, you could argue. But he's probably going to be on the wrong side of this score as well. There's no way I'm going against Koo.
He's a guy with his record, like you said, that you look at that and it's nothing. He has done everything and more his team could have asked of him for the SK Wyverns, really. And now you look at a matchup like this, he's going to go out there. For all we know, Dave, he could actually give up 1 or 2 runs in the first 5 or 6 innings, and NC could still clobber them late in the game or throughout that. So that's one of the top things. We see a fun little stat here. I always try and shout things out when people are giving us stats here. V. Barry says, fun fact, Chang Mo is on the road and Moon at home combined to give up 0 runs first inning at 88.9% of the time. Moon has faced NC twice and gave up 0 runs in the first, minus 0.5 first inning. I stick to the first 5 action. That's really what I do.
Innings. And I know there's some people who beat first innings, so I'm not, by no means am I criticizing that bet. I don't really handicap the first inning. But, I mean, look, those stats are pretty good.
I like the first 5 under in this one. I'm just going to isolate that quite a bit. I decided to look at it because, I've discussed 4.5s or 5s trying to get those good numbers. And when you see a pitcher like Koo out there, plus Moon, you're going to get a 4.5 versus the 5.
Yeah.
But I took a look, Dave, at the first 5 innings for this NC team dating back to, almost 2 or 3 series. They score the majority of their runs actually in the second half of the game. 6, 7, 8, 9th, and 9th inning.
They've been killing bullpens.
They've been killing bullpens, and usually theirs hasn't been great recently, but it's just their bats come to play late in the game. So, I'm comfortable with this 4.5 here. Moon has been great. I said about I think a month ago on the show, I said I'm going to be following Moon. He's one of my favorite, Korean pitchers on a poor team to bet on, and I think the last few times that he's pitched, I've actually backed him first 5 innings plus a half, and it's cashed, I think, a good percentage of the time. But now I'm not going to look to do that with the NC Dinos. I'm just going to go ahead with the under here. You can't argue with an under in any game the Koo is in, and like Dave has been saying for a long time, he's an outstanding pitcher, and we'll probably see him in another league at some point in his life. So
he's probably going to have to. He's got to get stronger. He's still a young pitcher. His velocity. I mean, in this league it works, and the slider is just devastating. But I don't know that his velocity will play at the major league level. I think he's got to add a couple miles an hour. He's like 89 as a rule with the fastball, and those, you got to be very precise when you throw an 89 in the majors, even if you've got a great slider, because they'll just wait on the fastball. In this league, he can get away with it. So I think you're definitely going to see him in the majors down the road, but I think it's going to be a few years, and I think he's still going to add some strength, something he's got to work on. He needs to go on the Bryson DeChambeau diet.
A couple more shakes, eh?
Did you see what that guy did?
Translate the numbers from Korean to English. Oh, and it's unbelievable, Dave. His tee shot's like 360 yards.
Oh, he's just unbelievable. He simply destroyed that golf course this weekend. I mean, it was just amazing to watch. I didn't have it. I didn't have him either. Well, I mean, when you're hitting the ball 370 off the tee, I mean, he's averaging almost what that. You can make up for some bad wedge shots, and look, he's scary right now. Anyway,
somebody here in the Periscope says, "How do you guys translate the numbers from Korean to English?"
I don't know what that means.
Or are they available in English too? They are in English. We have a couple different websites that we both use, and we're able to find them. So, it's been great. I mean, it's been one of those things where we've been able to find information, able to find stats. Hasn't really been all over for us. Johnny Outlaw here says Bryson DeChambeau is the real life Happy Gilmore. I love it. He pretty much is.
Well, you had no chance on Sunday against. I had one of the guys who was chasing him in Hatton, and it's like I got no shot here, no shot at all.
Yeah.
So that's the way it goes. I'm still not betting a guy at 6-1.
No. Always miss the live show. Watch the rerun. Glad I caught it today. Y'all are awesome. Thanks so much. I know everybody can't catch the live show. I think I speak for Dave. We both agree. We both really appreciate you, being able to check that out live. And it's nice to have you guys in here. Somebody here says also won the Dinos first 5. Would you agree, Dave? And I'm not V Barry. I'm not saying anything against your wager, but I'm just saying personally, I'd probably look towards the full game if I like the Dinos. However, you're going to get a better price with the half. I mean, I'd rather let Moon do his thing and then try and get in.
I mean, it's a big price. I don't know that it matters. I mean, look, if the Dinos don't win the first 5, there's a good chance they won't win the full game either. I don't. I have a tendency to throw these games out. I'm just not. Again, because I can't. There's no way I can't make a case for the dog. All right, even with a very good pitcher on the mound and Moon, but I laying 230, man, that's a tough spot on the road. To me, that's one way.
Got a fan here. Dave is my hero. Year-long crusher.
It's been a good season, although this weekend sucked. So hopefully get back on track. I think there are other
makes the dream work.
I think there are other options to look at as far as the Dinos Wyverns game is concerned. By the way, the Wyverns had a pretty good weekend. I think they actually won a series, which doesn't happen too often. And they've
Michael Martinez asking me if I have any action on Tottenham. Yeah. Well, this is a KBO show, but I'm on both teams to score, Michael. That's my bet that I'm on in the EPL. So I'm not a big soccer handicapper or anything like that. I don't charge or anything like that, but I tweet out all my soccer picks and done pretty well with it. On the staying away from the NC bullpen, Andrew V. Berry says, isolating coup. Good stuff. Great answer, and I agree.
It's a bad bullpen.
I'm doing that as well. So,
yeah. But there's lots of bad
I agree. I agree, V. Berry. Yeah, that's a good call. It's a good call. So we got a pretty good slate of games, both betting wise and entertainment wise here, Dave, for tomorrow morning. I'll see you tomorrow at 4:00 Eastern time. Good luck with your wagers.
Before we go, what have you got planned for your birthday today? For those who may not be aware, Andrew has checked another number off the calendar today, and you and the lady got some nice plans?
Yeah, thank you, Dave. Yeah, I have no idea where we're going. It's been a surprise for about a week or two. So
that's
it's
pretty
one
cool.
of those things. Yeah, we're just going to hop in the taxi and wherever we're going, I have no idea. So I'm hoping for a nice meal and a nice glass of wine and just have a nice night together.
Have you dropped any food hints? I mean, have you, I don't know,
what I like.
Texting her a picture of a lobster or something?
I want to have a nice steak. That's my plan. But my friends are waiting for my show to be over because they have beers hidden all over the house.
Nice.
They're trying to crack open. So I couldn't have any before the show. But
I'll let you go and enjoy the beer.
All right. Thanks, Dave. We'll see you guys all tomorrow. Chris, WagerTalk, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. And all of you guys, Zach Davis, no need for that comment, Zach, but I appreciate it. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Good luck with your wagers. Take care.
All right, man. Have a good one.